I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please. Okay, the meeting is called to order. All our members except for one, Mr. Reverend Benson couldn't make it tonight. Next is an approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd like to request an amendment to the agenda to pull off item number 8, 2025 to 26 academic calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That's 8-0. Okay. Any other changes? We're good. Okay. Okay. So next up is the John H. Crowder Service Award. Reverend Kirkpatrick.
For over 3 decades, John H. Crowder dedicated his life to supporting the youth of Union County. In honor of his enduring contributions and lasting impact, the Union County Board of Education presents the John H. Crowder Service Award on a monthly basis to recognize exceptional high school students who are actively contributing to their school and community. Recipients of this award excel academically and possess a well-established track record of community involvement. Tonight, we award the John H. Crowder Service Award for December to a Cuthbertson High School senior. Federico Smith, if you would please come, has actively contributed to both his school and the broader community. Federico is a member of the Beta Club, Superintendent Student Advisory Council, and currently serves as the president of the National Honor Society. In addition, throughout his 4 years at Cuthbertson, Federico has been a vital part of the symphonic band, showcasing his musical talents. He has also been a dedicated member of the school's cross-country and track and field teams, demonstrating excellence in athletics. His commitment extends far beyond the school. Federico is an active member of the Young Men's Service League, an organization that fosters leadership skills in young men while serving those in need in the community. At the Union United Methodist Church Food Pantry, he utilizes his Spanish skills to assist families seeking support, translating and completing paperwork with empathy and compassion. Federico's devotion to making a positive impact does not stop there. For the past two summers, he volunteered in camps for children with special needs, collaborating with the YMCA and Special Olympics organization. His genuine cares and support for others reflects the true spirit of a Cuthbertson Cavalier. Federico plans to study biomedical engineering at Wake Forest University next year. Board members and those who have joined us tonight, please help me in congratulating Federico Smith as the December 2023 recipient of the John H. Crowder Service Award.
Next up is the influence. Ms. Stolbert.
Good evening. I'm Tahara Stolbert, the Assistant Superintendent of Communications and Community Relations. Tonight, I'm stepping in for Dr. Meggett, who is unable to be here this evening. We're absolutely thrilled to shine a spotlight on 2 remarkable individuals who have earned the title of UCPS Influencers for December 2023. This program honors the enthusiasm, commitment, and outstanding work ethic of UCPS staff members who consistently put in extra effort each day. What makes this recognition special is that it's not decided by a select committee. Instead, It's the result of nominations from our staff, students, families, and community members. These are the people who see firsthand the positive impact these employees have on students and their peers. I am honored to present Monica McGinnis, a school counselor at Shiloh Valley Elementary, and Wendy Helms, an exceptional children's pre-kindergarten teacher assistant from Indian Trail Elementary. I will now invite the nominators to the podium to read the submission and recognize their honorees' accomplishments. Sarah Emo, can you please come forward?
Good evening. I am Sarah Emel, a parent of a former Shiloh Valley Elementary student. Mrs. McGinnis, will you please come forward and join me? Mrs. McGinnis is more than a school counselor. She is an individual who spreads love and compassion to all who surround her. I believe she is one of the main reasons that my daughter has survived and thrived while processing the grief of the loss of her daddy. She lifted her in her weakest moments and listened with a loving ear. Additionally, she identified ways to establish peer support so that no student in the grief process would feel alone. She has inspired me and guided me as a parent to support my child, as well as others who need support. How can you measure inspiration like that? The support and guidance she has given our family is invaluable and will impact not only us, but those who we are able to support in the years to come.
I will be reading the submission from parent Daniel Tekla-Mariam, who was unable to join us tonight. Ms. Helms, would you please come forward? Ms. Wendy was an awesome teacher assistant for our Sophie. She always smiles and greets the kids with love, and you could easily see that the kids love her as well. Sophie always looked forward to going to school, and we felt completely at ease knowing that Miss Wendy was there for her. It is truly a blessing and a privilege as a parent to have such an amazing teacher for your child. Thank you for everything. I will now read the UCPS Influencers Proclamation from the Board of Education and Dr. Houlihan. Whereas the Union County Board of Education values the hard work of each employee within the district. Whereas performance is an essential part of district operations. Whereas Monica McGinnis and Wendy Helms exemplify the performance, dedication, and teamwork essential to the success of the district and its students. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Education for Union County Public Schools, and Dr. Andrew G. Houlihan, Superintendent, hereby proclaim Monica McGinnis and Wendy Helms as the UCPS influencers for the month of December. Congratulations on this outstanding honor, and thank you for all that you do to be a positive influence on others each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wait. Next up is public comments. At every regular meeting of the board, up to 60 minutes has been allotted for public comments. The board will not respond to public comments. However, a member may ask that the chair obtain clarification. Residents, parents, students, and employees of the district will receive priority on the list of speakers. If a speaker is not present when his or her name is called, the opportunity to speak will be considered waived. Only persons signed up may speak. Speakers may not give their time to another person or have someone speak on their behalf. Speakers may address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes. The board will not hear in open session complaints about the performance of school personnel issues, confidential student issues. Should a speaker wish to seek information or share items that may not be shared during public comments, members of the UCPS cabinet staff are available to address your concerns or provide information. Cabinet staff members are seated at the table to my left. The first speaker is Harold Schomacher. Did I get it? Close. Oh.
And in school curriculum. I believe that everyone was taught similar propaganda that I was taught, so what I'm about to share may surprise you. In 1955, when the Salk vaccine was about to be distributed, Bernice Eady was one of the government scientists who injected the final product into monkeys for safety testing. The monkeys became paralyzed, and Bernice and her coworkers sounded the alarm. The U.S. government decided to roll out the polio vaccine anyway. Hundreds of children became paralyzed and 11 children died. It was a massive scandal at the time. Today, this incident is downplayed by blaming it on one of the subcontractors, Cutter Labs, by calling it the Cutter incident, effectively masking the government responsibility. Edie Bernice also sounded the alarm on the monkey virus SV40. She tested and demonstrated that it caused cancerous tumors in mice. Instead of praising her, NIH banned Bernice Eady from her lab and forced her to retire. A regulation was passed in 1961 banning creating vaccines that are contaminated with monkey viruses. All of the polio vaccines were created using monkey kidney tissues to culture the virus. When this regulation was passed, there was something very important left out. It did not require current inventory of contaminated vaccines to be destroyed. As a result, 98 million Americans were given polio vaccines contaminated with monkey viruses. As expected, 30 years later, cancer rates started exploding. Eli Lilly himself summed it up. If a car is defective, you recall it. If a vaccine is defective, you just tell them to try to do a better job. Let me read a paragraph from the 1984 Federal Register on regulations around vaccines. Any possible doubts, whether or not well-founded, about the safety of the vaccine cannot be allowed to exist in view of the need to assure that the vaccine will continue to be used the maximum extent consistent with the nation's public health objectives. Now, that's not from the Capitol and Hunger Games. That's from the United States government. Another area of interest for me is how do people catch polio? I learned that it came from fecal matter in water or food. Did improvements in water quality and food quality end polio, or was it the contaminated vaccines? Shouldn't we provide all of the information around vaccines to our students so they can make more informed decisions in the future? Unfortunately, vaccine hesitancy is deemed a more serious problem than vaccine injury. So propaganda is taught instead of the truth. So I thank you for your time and look forward to having some conversations to see. I'd like to see a little bit more about what is in our curriculum around this topic and see if we can address that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Abigail Prado.
Good evening. Tonight, at this last school board meeting of the year, I would like to express my gratitude for you, the Union County Board of Education. First, I want to commend the board for your unwavering commitment to providing an outstanding education for our students. Throughout the year, you have consistently demonstrated your dedication to academic excellence and the overall well-being of our children. Your tireless efforts to ensure that every student receives a quality education is incredibly admirable. One aspect that truly sets this board apart is your ability to listen to the community. You have shown an exceptional level of empathy and understanding by actively seeking input from parents, teachers, administrative staff, and community members. Your willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue has created an atmosphere of collaboration and trust. Furthermore, I want to express my appreciation for the board's unwavering dedication to putting Union County students first. Your commitment to prioritizing the needs of our students has been evident in every decision you have made. By focusing on their well-being, you have created a safe and nurturing environment that fosters growth, development, and success for all students. I want to express my heartfelt thanks to the Union County Board of Education for their outstanding leadership and dedication to our students. Your efforts throughout the year have not gone unnoticed, and I am truly grateful for your unwavering commitment to educational excellence, community engagement, and dedication to putting students first. I hope you all have a restful winter break and a very joyous holiday season. Thank you.
Next up is Jen Sanders.
Hello, good evening, board. I'd just like to talk about what Mr. Sides said at the last meeting, and I'll just go down the list a little bit about advocating for our teachers. So we're just curious about how and with whom that you're doing that with, because as the community, we don't have the transparency to know who you're talking to and what the outcomes are. So it would be important to know that if you guys are fighting for the teachers, which I assume that you are, that you would share that with the community and ask us to engage as well. For instance, we continue to write to our elected officials in our state legislation, to our state BOE. We remind them the importance of keeping public money in public funded schools, and how our teachers, how all of a sudden we're seeing the avalanche of our teachers dwindling and leaving because they can't afford to live here on their salaries. And the supplements haven't been continued, or they're being paused for the moment. The increasing, you're not getting money from 16 to 25 years. So you have to understand that the teachers are struggling. You know, you can go to Starbucks and get a better job, unfortunately. And our teachers are important to us as a community, and for our students, you know, they grow with our teachers. And then I just also like to ask you about what your thoughts or considerations or what you're doing about the voucher program. And I bring it up every month because it's important that the state legislation is defunding public education, and you're elected for public education. You're here to support our students and our teachers. So that's really important. They're taking $520 million out of our pot, and they're giving it to other schools, charters, and private schools that have no regulations. And if you need more information, I'd be happy to share it with you. But the voucher program is extremely dangerous. I really wish you guys would understand that. And then just that, you know, defunding public education is only going to hurt our brown and black students, our immigrant students, our low income families. The fact that we will not allow the charters and private schools, they don't have the safeguards. And what I mean by that is if a kid comes in with a disability, they don't need to accept that student, or they get a voucher, they get a certain amount of money, and then then they'll raise their rates, and then those students can't afford to stay in that program any longer. So it would be really beneficial for you guys as a board to share with your community about what you're doing to help our teachers and to help keep public funded money into our schools. Thank you very much. Have a good night and happy holidays.
Next up is Reagan Shaw.
I want to start off with a quote. "It's a terrible shame. North Carolina is too far towards the bottom in funding our educators, and it is going to have disastrous long-term effects." End quote. I am so glad we finally can agree on something. We are in a five-alarm fire for public education in North Carolina right now. That quote was from Mr. Sides. So I'm glad that there seems to be understanding that there is a huge, huge catastrophe rolling out in North Carolina right now when it comes to public education. Where I struggle is that Jen and I were not saying that you all are responsible for the votes that happen in Raleigh, but you are part of a political party that is making that happen. And this whole school board did not have to be a partisan arena, and it didn't used to be, but you guys made it that. And most of you ran as the red wall, correct? Except for Reverend Kirkpatrick. It was the red wall? Was that? I seem to remember lots of talk about the red wall. And there are also, pictures of you with these people campaign, with the the very people that have voted to take this money out of public schools and put it into private schools, which most of it's going to go to private families who already have kids in private school. That, you know, those people that are doing that, they're part of your party. And I just don't understand. There are other school boards around North Carolina that are speaking out publicly to come out against these pieces of legislation, which have already happened. I mean, the legislation's already been passed, so that ship has somewhat sailed. But they're coming out and very vocally trying to educate people about what's happening and what the problem is. And I just feel like you guys have not actually spent the time doing that in the public sphere, where we can hear your voice to say, hey, you know, Dean Arp, Todd Johnson, Dave Willis, how dare you pass these pieces of legislation that harm our public schools? We haven't heard that. And so I would really like to hear that. I would like to hear you be very vocal about those specific pieces of legislation and who's actually doing them. And please do not make the whole arena around public education some sort of partisan place where, you know, you're touting your Republican bona fides, when those are the people who are really hurting public education right now. So we would love to hear you actually speak out about vouchers and about Leandro.
Okay. Next up, I need a motion to approve the November 8th meeting minutes.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Veto, thank you. Next up is I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Veto, thank you. Next up is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, board, and good evening, UCPS. I want to begin this evening by giving a big shout out to the Weddington High School Warriors, who are on their way to the 4A state finals in football and will play Hoggard High School this Saturday in Raleigh at 7 p.m. Congratulations to the team, coaches, staff, parents on a great season. We will all be cheering on the Warriors this weekend and cannot wait for you all to bring home another state championship. I also want to ask everyone to please join me in congratulating Maya Ramirez from Marvin Ridge High. She is our first ever back-to-back winner of the UCPS Holiday Card Contest. More than 250 students competed across all grade levels in this contest this year. The top 10 finalists' artwork received more than 5,600 votes. We celebrated our artist on November 17th with a special breakfast, and Maya received a significant amount of awards and recognitions, including a framed copy of her card, a Hobby Lobby gift card, and special recognition on the district's website. So congratulations again to Maya. And finally, it is hard to believe we are about a week and a half away from the winter break. It's been a phenomenal first semester. I'm very proud of the work happening across all of our schools. I want to encourage our employees and students to take time to relax, spend time with your family and friends. Please, everyone, be safe during the winter break and have a great holiday season. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is policies and administrative guidelines for review.
Yes, good evening, members of the Board of Education. We have a lot of policies and administrative guidelines for review tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you have any questions regarding any, I can try and help answer those. Thank you.
Comments? Anyone? Mr. Sides, you can go. I think a bunch of us want to talk, but you could start with Mr. Sides if you'd like.
Well, first of all, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I can't believe it's that time already, but it is. And I would also ask, as you're able to spend time with your family and friends, that there are some 1,200 Israelis, citizens, that will not, that were subject to the October 7th terrorist attack, and of which there are some 130 hostages still under the thumb of Hamas in Gaza, including American citizens. So I'd ask that you remember them in your holiday festivities. And to my Jewish family and friends, I wish you a happy Hanukkah as well. Thank you.
Want me to go? Okay. None of us were part of a red wall, so I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to give you facts. I don't know what you're talking about pausing for our teachers. They still get them. What? But pausing is different than what you're saying. They still get it. We talk to our legislators all the time, every day, on the phone, in person, everything. And we know that we're a public education, and we ask for everything that we can possibly get. And I don't understand why. Would you think that there's 9 of up here thinking that won't talk to our legislators? Is that what you believe? Because that's not true. I mean, if we're not going to put, I don't think.
All right.
I don't.
This is not a back and forth.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
speaking. I don't think that we have to do that because we talk to them and we say what we want to say, and they are very helpful with bills that we do and what they do, and our ears are open and talking all the time. But I'm not going to go out and go after anybody. I don't do that. So, what? But you can be vocal all you want. We're talking to them all the time. And I'm not talking to you. Anybody else? Go for it.
Off of Kathy, what she said, I wasn't part of the red wall either. I am what I am, and it's a partisan board, and that is what it is. That's how it's been for several years, and you don't like it, I'm sorry, that's unfortunate. But that's how this is. My beliefs are my beliefs, my politics are my politics. I have been a product of public education, and so is my daughter. And I did this for our students, for my daughter, for public education. So the fact that every month you come up here and you say that we're not here for our public education for students is asinine to me. So I'm here to fight for my kid. I'm here to fight for your kids. Whether we agree to disagree on things, but we do speak to our legislators every month, every week. We fight for our kids. We know that teachers are not getting paid what they need to get paid, but that's what we do. We fight for them. It is not your decision for us to put out what you want us to put out. We will put out what the board agrees to put out according to our policies. That's it. That's my say on this. That's my take on it. Whether you like my politics or not, that really doesn't matter to me. My people in my district elected me, and I'm serving them and the students. And with that said, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a great, wonderful end of the year.
We do our job. We do. And the fact that you don't think we do is just ridiculous. No, you can't respond.
No Finance Committee meeting in December.
Policy committee in December? There is? There's not. None. Second.